Okay, so you can either open or create new. We have models and we have families. Families, Revit uses families. This is very useful because we have a lot of things that people have already created using Revit. Objects, furniture, trees, whatever. Those are families. We are not going to do this. We're going to open a model. So just click new. And the first decision we have to make is what kind of template we want to work with. So if you go here, we have construction, architectural, structural, and mechanical. If some of you have taken systems with me, so we have opened mechanical template. And we use the mechanical template to create ducts, pipes, and all that stuff. We are going to use either construction or architectural, doesn't matter. So you can open the construction and you can create a new project. We can create a project template, but now we are going to create projects. Okay, so new, then select the template, either architectural or construction, project. If we click here in browse, we can open something that already exists. That let's create something from scratch, architectural project, and okay. And this is the first screen. We have level 1. We have all these panels. We have the build, circulation, model, room area, opening, data, whatever. We have a lot of things. And here we have tabs: architecture, structure, steel, systems, insert, annotate, analyze, massing, a lot of things. So we are going to start with architecture. We are not going to use structures or steel or systems, or we have to annotate. In annotate, we have dimensions, which is something useful, and we need to learn how to create dimensions with Revit. But the first thing is the architecture, and it's quite easy. Okay, if you look at the icons, we see walls, doors, windows, components. If you open here components, you have families. So those are the Revit families. We have a desk, we have a tree. We have different families here. Okay, so we can find. I'm inserting desks. I don't want to do that. For columns, we have columns, roofs, floors, and here we have curtain walls, stairs. Just open the stair and you can create a stair. And then if you click here, this tiny icon, this is the 3D view. So we have a stair here. If you you can move in 3D, here we have this. Okay, so you can move, but always shortcuts are better. So if you press Shift and then right click, then you can rotate the view by pressing Shift and right click. And these are shortcuts to different views. The top view is this one. If you want a front view, have this. Or if you want another view, you have that. Okay, so with this, we can select what view we are using. There's another important thing, which are the levels. Okay, before doing anything, well, even before doing that, so I will delete the staircase. By the way, if you click, you have to, if you want a window, if you want to select something, then you have to click and then drag. So we have two kinds of windows. We have this window, or if we go leftwards, we have a window with a dashed line. Okay, so a window with a dashed line means that you select. If you just you don't have to include all the object. Okay, so if I do this, I don't select anything with this kind of window. So I have to include all the object. If I go leftwards, I don't have to include all the object. object to select it, and then I click delete, and that's it. Okay, so here you see that by default we have level 1. But if we look at this front elevation, we see level 1 and level 2. And here we see 0 and 4,000. What is this? Well, that's the difference between these two levels. First, we have to control the units. Depending on what version of Revit you are using, we are working with some units or other units. I am, well, in my professional life, because I'm an architect, and I have to work with the metric system. And that's why by default, I have the metric units. So this is level 0 and this is level 4,000. So this is 4,000 millimeters. This is 4 meters. If you want to work with, we will work with the imperial units because we are, yeah, so in America, we use the imperial units. So the first thing we have to do before doing anything else, we have to find out what kind of units we are using. So you have to go to the tab Manage. And here somewhere you will have project units. If you open this, probably you won't find this. There are different options and there are different settings to visualize what we have. Maybe this icon, the project units, it's bigger or it's smaller or it's not here and it's there. Anyway, you have to find where your icons are. Okay, so that's why if you open Revit for the first time, you say, okay, I don't have project units and I don't have the Manage tab. Everything's there, but probably there are different layouts and you don't find it. So that's why it's important that if you don't find, let me know as soon as possible. Share your screen, and then I'll show you where to find different things. Project units. So by default, I told you that, well, here we have the disciplines, common, it's okay. And by default, I have imperial unit, I have the metric units. I can change this. So the length, it's in millimeters. We can change to decimal feet or feet and fractional inches. I think this is mainstream in imperial units. So let's say feet and fractional inches. Then the area, let's say square feet. The volume, cubic feet. Angles, slope, currency. Mass density, we're not going to use this, but if you want to change to, it can be pounds per cubic foot. Time in seconds, and speed, well, let's say feet per minute. Okay, and now we click OK, and this changes. So it's not 4,000 anymore. Now it's 13 feet and 1/2 inches. Okay. So this is something that when we are starting a drawing, before drawing a wall, a line, or whatever, we need to have to check at the beginning in this Manage tab. And what we have to check is the location. Okay. By default, in this version, in my version of Revit, we are in Boston, Massachusetts. Why? I don't know. But if you want a different location, if you want to be in Miami, Florida, then you search. And we don't, okay, did you mean Miami, Florida? Yes, I meant that. Okay, here we go. So we're in Miami. Does it matter? Well, we're not going to work with locations, but if we're working with energy simulations, if we are working with the solar analysis, the location matters. And you can type your, if you know the coordinates, you can type your coordinates. Anyway, but this is it. If you are in Lincoln, Nebraska, did you mean? Yes, I meant that. And here we are. Okay. So, okay, let's stick to Miami. So first, you have to get used to defining the units, the project units, and then the location. So we have to, sometimes I'll forget to, I will open a drawing and I will start drawing, and that you have to get used to doing this because it's important. We have to select the project units and we have to select the location. And then something very important is the levels, defining the levels. By default, I had 4,000 millimeters, and in metric units, this is by the default. And if you are working with the imperial units, you won't have this weird number. You will have like 10 feet or 12 feet, something like that. If we want to define the levels, we cannot do that in a plan level. We cannot do that in a 3D view. We have to go to elevations. Oh, this is important as well. As you can see, because this is my layout and this is how I work. I recommend you do this because by default, I think you have the project browser and the properties windows here in the same column. This is the default layout. Well, since we are using a lot of things, I prefer this layout. So I have here the properties and I have here the project browser, because those are two things that we should know. Do not panic. Look at this. If you open Revit and you find where's the properties window, where? Okay, so you can always click on view, and here you have the user interface. Okay, so here we have the view. The cube is that thing. Okay, so we can be active. So we don't have a cube. Oh, what can we do? Just activate it. We have the navigation bar. We have whatever. So make sure that you always have the browser window, the project browser, sorry, and the properties window here. And if they are together, you can move it. Okay, but this is up to you. I mean, if you feel comfortable with a different layout, that's fine. Okay, so you have to feel comfortable with what you are doing. But we will always be using properties and the project browser because we have to change from level 1 to level 2. Here we have 3D views. Okay, so these are two important windows. So remember, in view, user interface, that links the project, and the properties windows should be there. And now we have to fix the levels. How many levels? If you are designing a 3-floor house or building, you would need the first, the second, the third level, and the roof. Okay, so we can control this clicking on elevations. There's a cancel. Yeah. Okay, so if you open the elevation, by the way, this is one manage project units. I did something wrong because when you change, you don't have to change it every time you open a window. So I'll do it again. Square feet, cubic feet, density pounds, and feet per minute. Okay, so now this is level 0, this is level 13 in feet, and now we open this and it's level 0 and level 15. Okay, what if you don't want, you are superstitious and you don't want level 13? Okay, so let's type level 12. If we know that it's going to be a 3-story house or building, we can copy this level. Okay, so we can select this, and when you select something, whatever, these groups change, and here you can modify things. Okay, so and here you have copy, align, offset, mirror, rotate, trim. So those are very useful commands, and you have to use all of them. And now we can copy. Okay, so if you copy this level, you can go up or down. And if you know the distance between the level 2 and level 3, you can type it. Let's say 20. Be careful, because if you copy and if you go this way and you type 20, you don't know what you are doing. So be careful, and when you are copying something, make sure that it's perpendicular. We have this 90-degree angle, and now you can type 20, and now from level 12 to level 32, the difference is 20. Okay, now what do I do? These are the levels that you will have here. So you have level 1, level 2. Imagine that you have 7 levels, and you have intermediate levels here because you have created another one. Okay, so this is the order, but level 5 now it's below level 4. So this is confusing. So I rename the levels. So if this is 0, I name this one level 0. If this is 12, I name this one level 12. And you see how the corresponding view changes here. Now it's not level 2, it's level 12. If this is level 24, I name this 24. And if this is 32, I name this 32. Okay, this is the way I work with this. You can, I know, you can have first floor, second floor, third floor, third, second and a half, whatever. But this works for me, so you can follow this. Why don't we have here all the levels? We have level 0 and level 12. Well, now we have to go to view. We have to go to plan views, floor plans. And here we have all the levels that are not visible here. So if we select both, the 24 and 32, we click OK. So now we have all the levels, level 0, 12, 24, and 32. Okay, so remember, we open the file, we have to select the template, architectural or construction template. First thing, we have to manage project units. Make sure that you are working. Usually, if you are working with, I'm sure that by default, you have these units in Imperial units. Check it. Get used to checking it every time you open this. Then we have to change the location. Mm, you should know where you are working. This is Boston. No, I don't want Miami. Miami, Florida. Okay. Uh, now it's Miami. Yeah, I didn't save it before, so now it's correct. So we have project units, we have location, and then the third thing, it's checking the levels. You should know, you can change that. If you don't like 12, it can be 10, that then you should change the name of that level. Okay, and now we have here level 10. Okay, so now we can start. Usually we start with the first level, level 0. Another important thing, you see here, you see this? Try to make everything, all the lines that you are doing, try to, they have to be within these elements. Why? Look at this. For if we go to architecture and we draw a wall, and we draw the wall here, if we open this view would be the elevation 4, which is the south elevation. This is north, south, east, and west. If we open the south elevation, nothing shows up. Why? Because we are drawing something behind the south elevation. Where the arrow means that we are looking that way. So if we are drawing something here, it doesn't show up. But if we move it here, and now from the south elevation, something appears. Okay. So make sure that everything is within this. If your model is too big, you can always move these things here. Okay, so now from the south elevation, we see all these, we see the wall we have already done. Okay, but this is the, sometimes if you open Revit and if you are doing this, you start drawing another wall and another and staircases and whatever. It's okay, I want to see the south elevation. Where's it? And you go crazy. Okay, so it's because everything that you have drawn is not within these limits. So move the south elevation, and now you have everything here. Is it important that the drawing is bigger than those lines? Well, it's good that whatever you do, it's within the limits. So if your drawing is too big, you can always select one of the lines, one of the level lines, and then you can drag it. And as you can see, the 4 lines go together, because when we look at this, when there's a padlock here, that means that all these lines are connected together. So by moving one of them, we move all. Okay, so that's better. Okay, so this is, if we close this tab, don't worry, because we can open this again. So this is level 0. So let's make this bigger. And you can delete everything if you Control Z and you undo, or here. Okay, so if you delete something that you don't want to, click here, and then you undo again. Now, if we click, we have a lot of information here in the properties window. So the most important thing is the base constraint, where we are. We are at level 0. And the top constraint is unconnected. That means that we don't control the height of this window, of this wall. Usually we have different levels. The wall goes from level 0 to another level, let's say level 10. Okay, so now we click again. We are on level 0 and the top is level 10. What about this one? So this starts in level 0 and the top, we can say level 24. And if we select these two, we can select level 32. So now if we open the 3D view, remember that the 3D view is here, or yeah, it has to be here because here we don't have any 3D view yet. So we have to open the first 3D view here. Okay, so you see that we have created different walls with different heights. This is from 0 to 10. This is from 0 to 24. And this is from 0 to 30 something. If we open the elevation, okay, here we see, again, I think it's better if we drag everything here so it's clear. So we have different levels. So this is up to level 10. This is up to level 24. And the other one is up to level 32. If we want to go beyond, no problem, we can go. But now what is the height of this wall? It's 60.49. So I recommend you define the level first, and then you can decide the height of the wall. If you want to go back to level 32. Okay, so that's interesting. We have the top offset. Okay, so we can define level 32, but then we have an offset here. If we make it bigger, let's make it 40. This wall is higher. If we want to be up to level 32, then the offset should be 0. There you go. Okay. And after that, once you are done with the walls, imagine, okay, I want all the walls to be at level 24 and this up to level 24. Okay, so now all these walls have the same height. And now this is this is risky, and this is what I don't like about Revit, because you can say, okay, let's start placing doors and architecture window. I have a window, another window, another window, another window, and yeah. Okay, so this is extremely ugly. So be careful. Before doing anything, just think of what you want. Because when you have inserted this window, you have made a lot of decisions. So it's a fixed window. If we edit type, the height is 2 feet, the seal height is 3, the width is 1.33, and the insert. So if you insert something here, that means that you have made a lot of decisions. So first, decide what kind of window and what kind of door you want. And so take your time. Don't start inserting things. No, just think of what you want. We have walls. What else do we need? We would need a roof. So let's try to work with roof. But when we are working with roofs, we need to understand what level we are in. A roof doesn't mean that we are in the last level. Okay, so you remember that we have level 0, level 10, and level 24. So those walls are up to level 24. So when we are in level 0 now. If we are placing a roof, this is the first thing. What level do you want this roof. Okay, so let's say level 24, because all my walls are up to level 24. Yes. So now we can, there are different ways to create a roof. So we can create a rectangle. So we create a rectangle. We click finish. And where is that roof? We're on level 0, so we don't see the roof because the roof is on level 24. If we open level 24, we see this. And what is this? This is the roof. If we open the 3D, ugh. Yep, we have created a roof, but this is what we want. Not really. What if I want a flat roof? Can I get rid of all this? Yes, I can. We can only select the roof and we can edit footprint. And as you can see, here we have this triangle. That means that we have a slope. So if we want to get rid of the slope, we select this, and by default, we define slope. So we click here, then we select this line. We don't want to define slope. We finish again, and this is what we have. So we only have 2 slopes. If we want a flat roof, define edit footprint, select these 2, and I don't want a slope. So I have a flat roof now. Do you have any questions? Am I going too fast or too slow?
I just want to double check. Are you going to be posting like this recording on Canvas?
I will, yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that you can go to bed now. So you have to attend the lesson, and today is the introduction. So I'm just, but other days I will ask you to share the screen to see if you are doing something, or you get the point of what I'm doing. Okay. Well, the good thing in Revit is that once you have the roof or the wall, you can edit it. Okay, so if you don't like the height of this wall, you can change the level, and it doesn't matter. So the roof doesn't change. If you don't want that roof because you want a slope, you can always edit the footprint. And if you want a slope again, you can define slope here. And what happens if we only define one slope? Well, this happens. We can control the slope. If this is too steep, which is, we always can do this. And here we have the slope in angles or in degrees, sorry. This is something that we have to define in settings. I'll show you. This is a 30-degree angle. So if we want to make it this way, 15, it's not as steep as it was with 30. Or I don't know, if you manage and we select project units, I have defined the slope by angle, but you can define by decimal degrees, but you can define a ratio. So let's do this, okay? And now the slope is 3.212. What if I want to slope 1 to 12? Or what if I want to slope 12 to 12? Okay, so it depends. So let's say 3 to 12 here. Now we don't like this. It's like, okay, what's this? This is the wall and this is the roof. Is there a way that we can adjust the wall to the roof? Okay, so we can, I showed you how to adjust walls to levels. Okay, so we can go up to level 10, or we can go up to level 32. But we can select the wall, and then we can attach top base. Okay, so you see that we have a panel here, and this is attached to top base. And this is what happens. You have a drawing here, drawing. So we have a wall, we have a roof, we have attached to top base, and then we have this kind of triangular wall. So we attach this to top base, we select the roof, and now we have the shape here. Okay, and we can do this with the rest of the walls. We can select this, attach to top base, and there you go. And finally, this one, attach there. What happens if we have this wall and then we have this roof? What happens? Attach to top base, let's find out. Click here. Okay, so Revit is intelligent. Okay, it understands that we have this wall, we have a roof. Okay, so the part of the wall that it's underneath the roof, it adjusts this to that wall. Okay, so now you know a lot of things. You know how to create walls. You know to change the height of the wall. You know how to create a roof. You can control the slope of the roof, and then you can attach or you can adjust the shape of the wall to the shape of the roof. Okay. What else can we do? So let's see. We have a roof, and usually we need a floor, because with this you see how it's empty. Okay, so we are looking from below and it's empty. So we need a floor. So let's create a floor. Usually we are working with floors, we have to use the level. So the floor would be on level 0. And what can we do? We can create another rectangle, or we can adjust a floor to the walls. Okay, so we can click here, we can click line, and then we can start tracing the line that we want to create. Okay, you see how I can follow this, and even if I want to extend this, if I hover the mouse here, you see that it keeps the same angle up to this point. Okay, and then we can go this way. Well, that's interesting. If it's not closed, we click here, and lines might be in closed loops. So just continue. So you have to close it, and now you can finish. Okay, if there are not closed loops, you cannot finish the shape that you are doing. And now we do have a floor. Okay, there are different ways to do this. So let's undo, and now go to level 0. So I created this. I can create walls, or I can create a floor by picking walls. Okay, so let's explore this. So you see that here I can pick walls, and I pick this one, and this one, this one, and this one. What happens? I click finish. They have to be closed loops. Okay, no problem. Continue. And now I have to close this. And using this tool, it's extremely useful. This is the trim. Okay, so you see what it does. It extends 2 lines until they connect each other. So let's trim. So I can extend this, and now I have this connection. And now I can change this. So I connect this, and now I have a closed loop. I finish, and I have the same floor. Okay. What if I'm not happy with this floor? I can always edit the boundary. And okay, I want to extend this beyond. Okay, you can do that. Then finish again, and then we have another floor. Or no, I want to extend it in this direction. Okay, do it. And finish. And there you go. And so that's the good thing in Revit. We have a floor, and it doesn't have to be the final. I can change my mind. Okay, no, I'm not sure about this. So let's edit the boundary again. And I don't want to. I want to make a rectangle here. So you can change to level 0. I don't want this line, so delete it. And I can use another line here, there, there, and there. Okay, so finish, and I have this floor now. What if I want an opening? We can have that. Imagine that you want a skylight in this roof. So you select the roof, you edit the footprint. When you edit the footprint, it looks like flat, okay? So let's work on level 24 because it's the level of the roof. And let's create this rectangle here. We have a rectangle. We don't have slopes. So do not define slope. Finish and see what happens. Okay, we have created a skylight here. It's a bad idea. I don't like it. Okay, no problem. You can always delete everything, and you have the roof. What if I want like a fence around this? This is my lot, this is my house, and I want to build a fence around my house. Okay, let's do it. So we can go to level 0, and then I have to follow this path. So I can use the wall again. And imagine that I'm doing something crazy. I'm like, okay, so this shape doesn't have anything to do with the floor. There's a wonderful tool, which is Align. Okay, so if you click Align, and if you select this line, and then you select this wall, and plop, you're aligning this. And then this and that. Okay, perfect. And this and that. Okay, so you don't have to follow the shape. You have to do anything, and then with this Align tool, you can do this. And what if you want to cut this wall here? Well, there are different options. You can drag the wall here, and you can drag this wall there, and then you can drag this wall here, so you have a perfect corner. Or you can use the trim, and then you have the corner as well. Oh no, this is not the level I want. Okay, so you select all these walls and change the top constraint to level 10. There you go. Okay. What else? So in this architecture tab, we have used walls, roofs, and floors. What else we can do today? Okay, let's go to level 0. And I need dimensions now because, well, I don't know. I'm using this, but I want to take accurate dimensions. Okay, so you have to go to annotate, and then you have to change. There are different dimensions. We have aligned, linear, or angular. If everything's straight and perpendicular, we can use linear. I recommend you use aligned always. Okay, so we have to select. By the way, here, as you can see, we have selected wall center line. Okay, if we select wall faces, then it's different. But let's stick to wall center line. So we can take a measurement from here to this wall center line. And this is 96 feet. What if you want to change that? If we select the dimension, we can't change it. Okay, so you can't change it. But if you select the wall, now you can. It's not 96. I want this to be 50. So now the wall, these walls are at 50 feet. If you want to change this, now you have to edit the boundary of the floor, and then you have to align again this to this. Okay, there you go. So now we have changed everything. Okay, but sometimes you don't have even to know the dimension or the distance between two walls. You know that you want a wall here and another wall there. Okay, 50, I don't like it. So let's make it 60. Okay, and what about this one from this one? It's 28 point, let's say 20. Okay, and if I select this, this is 79, let's say 80. Okay, so you don't have even to have dimensions here. If you select something, Revit tells you the distance between this and the closest element. If you select this one, so you have this one. If you select this, you have this distance and that distance. If you want this to be 15, okay. So there you go. So working with dimensions, it's important, and then I can change everything. So this is 300. What if I want to know the dimension? You have a line, and I show you that this is with wall center lines. So that's useful because knowing the wall center line, it's good. But what if I want to know the dimension between the faces? So then you have to select wall faces, and then from this point to that point, we have a different dimension. This is 60 and this is 61. Okay, because now it's the faces. Again, I don't want this to be 60. Do not select the dimension by selecting this. You don't change it. You have to change that. And okay. If you select this, well, this is weird because you see that we have this face and here we have the center line. Anyway, do not panic because we can always work with something different. And that's that's something we can use, which is this model line. Okay, so this is a line. It's not a wall, it's not a column, it's not a roof, it's just a line. And we can use this as a reference line. Because I want from this line, so I want to do something here, okay? And we can copy this. If we select this line, click enter, and I want something at 10 feet, 10 feet, okay? And I know I want another wall here. So I can create another wall. It doesn't matter where. And then I have to align. So I can align this face to that wall. Okay. And then this reference line, I can delete it because I just needed this line to create the wall right here. Okay, I'll do it again. By the way, we can create these lines in every view. So we can use the 3D, and we have a line here. And then we can use align even in 3D. So I can align this to this, and there you go. But working in plan, it's always more accurate because I can control the distance. If I want this to be at 30, I can control the distance, and then I have to move the wall again. So I have to align this. And when we are done with this reference line, we delete it, and that's it. Okay. I'm going to work with this again so that by repeating this, we will internalize what we are doing. So let's go to architecture, level 0. We are going to work with walls, and I want like another thing here. I'm creating a weird shape here. And I have this. I'm not happy. So this is unconnected, and it's not connected to any level. So let's select all the walls and then connect all of them to level 10. There you go. Now, what if I want columns? I want the column. Well, so far we have this column, and on level 0, I want to place the column here. You see, we have a column, and then in the 3D view, it's twisted. Why? I don't know, but this is not what I wanted to do. So let's go back to level 0. Let's place a column. Okay. Oh, because I was working there. Be careful. Do not work with structural columns yet. Work with architectural columns. Okay, there you go. So this is a column. Check the levels. So it's from level 0 to level 10. That's fine. And now we want to repeat that column. Okay, so let's copy here. If we select copy and then we select multiple, then we can copy the same column many times. Okay. What if I want all the columns to be at the same distance? Can I do this? Yes, I can. So if I select this column, can I change this dimension? How can I do it? How can I make these columns to be at the same distance? Well, I'm sure there are different ways to do that, but we can use annotate. Okay. So if we use aligned, if we use center lines, so we have the center line of this column. We have the center line of that column. This one, and that one. Okay, so all distances are different, 27, 24, 20, 12. I click here and you see that we have this EQ. Okay, so we click here and now all these columns are the same distance. Isn't it amazing? Okay, so sometimes with Revit, we can try things. Okay, so if we know that we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, but we don't have to decide the distance between columns from the beginning. We can do that. Okay, so we can always say, I want the distance between columns is 10 feet. Okay, so from the midpoint, I can go 10 feet, and then 10, and then 10, and 10. Okay, that's fine. Or I can copy and I can say, okay, I want all these columns to be at the same distance. So then you have to select annotate, align, select wall center, and then by selecting everything here, EQ, up. And now, if we move one of the columns, the distance is still the same. Okay. If so, is this what we want? Well, I don't know if I want this or not. So you see that we have like padlocks here. What if I close this one? What happens if I select this and then I move it? You see the difference? So now we are moving the rest of the columns. If this padlock is open, if we move this, we are moving the columns. They are at the same distance, but the first column doesn't move. Because it's not locked. But if I lock this padlock, then moving the columns means that they are all together.
I have a question.
Yep.
Could you set the columns equally distant from the walls as well by doing the same thing?
Okay, good question. So let's align this and this. You mean, okay, now I get your point. So you want to use these walls, and you want the distance between the columns and the wall is the same that between two columns. Is this what you
Yes.
want? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see. First, I'm going to delete all these. I remove the constraints, remove the padlocks. Okay, so let's start from scratch. So go architecture, architectural column. So we have 1, 2, 3. So you want the distance to be the same. Okay, so we go to annotate, aligned, wall center line. So here, center line, center line, center line, and center line. And we click equal. So this is what you wanted.
Yeah. So now they're all the same distance from each other and the wall?
And the wall, yeah. So the distance between the center line of the wall and the center line of this column is the same as the
Okay.
distance between these two center lines.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Please do not hesitate to interrupt and to ask me whatever you want. Okay, I think using these dimensions, it's a very powerful tool because we can do a lot of things without calculations. Because look at this, it would be a nightmare if we want to do this by hand. Okay, so what is I have this wall here, this wall there. I need 3 columns. So what should be the distance between each column? So those are things that when we didn't have Revit a few years ago, anytime we wanted to do this, we had to make calculations. Okay, this distance divided by 4, the center line, whatever. Now with Revit, it is automatic. Okay. So we have columns, we have walls. What else do we have here? We have roofs. A ceiling, it's not a roof. This is a false ceiling. I'm not going to teach that today because this is too much. And I don't know if I have to teach curtain walls. Okay, I'll show you this, but this is dangerous. Okay, so this is a curtain wall system. Curtain wall is a wall made of glass. So if you select this, you can create system. Oh, but no, we can't do this because I need to show you the Massingen site. No, I'm not going to. No, this is too much for the first day. I can show you how to do how to create windows. So for windows, here we have this family. We have fixed windows. And if you click here, this arrow, you find different dimensions. So it's the same window, but this is, well, it's in millimeters. Probably you will find something in feet or in inches, but this is the smallest one and this is the biggest one. Okay, so we can select the same window, but with different dimensions. So let me show you. I select the biggest one, and then if you want to insert a window, you need a wall. Okay, so you can't insert a window in the middle of nowhere. We need walls. Okay, so you only can insert windows in walls. So let's do this. This is a window. What if you insert another window? Sorry, but this one, the smallest one. Okay, so it's the same window. So it's a fixed window with a frame, but it's smaller. Okay. What if I want to make this window bigger? Can I edit the type? Yes, if you edit this type, you can always, well, this is dangerous. So I'll show you how to do it. I will do something wrong, and then I will do something right. So here you can change dimensions. The height is 6 feet. So I want this to be 8 feet. And the width, it's 3, and I want this to be 2 feet. So I apply. Okay, so this is a different window. What's the problem with this window? That the name of this window is with the original dimensions. And now every single window that you insert, so if you insert this window with these dimensions, is the same. And if you work with these families, imagine that you select this window and you edit type. Now I want this window, this specific window, to be 6 feet. You apply. So all the windows of the same family now have the same dimension. But no, I don't want that. So I want all these windows to be 8 feet, and this specific window, I want this to be 6 feet. Okay, so you have to edit type, and then you have to duplicate. If you duplicate the window, and then you need to select a window with a name, you have to select a name that you can remember. It's now window 1, window 2. So when you duplicate and you create your own window, you can say, okay, this is 6 by 2 feet. Would you remember this window with this name? I think so. But do not name things my window, window 1, because then when you have created 100 windows, what is window 1? We don't know. So just click OK. And now you can change this. Now this is 6. You click OK. And now this window is 6 by 2. Okay. And we have different windows. And one of them is 6 by 2. What if I want these windows to be at the same distance? Can I do it? Yes, so I go to level 0. I have the windows here. I use annotate. I use align. And I can use center line or the center window. 1, 2, 3, 4. EQ. There you go. So now the distance between windows is the same.
Fernando, would you be
Yep.
able to take that shorter window and line up the top of it with the others?
Okay, let's find out. We have to do this with this front view. But the problem is that in this front view, I have this ugly building. Okay, let's try to do it from the 3D view. So first you have to select the window. Okay, so if you don't select anything, you don't have this tool, you don't have the align tool. So you can do this, align, and now you see that there are a lot of things here. Yeah, you can, but it's look at this. If you are working in 3D, you have to select what you want to align, because now I am selecting all this rectangle. This is not what I want. I want to select, and sometimes it's difficult. I want this. Uy, joder.
So if the ugly building wasn't in the way, front view would be an easier way.
Yeah, but with okay, I'll do it. But you see what I have selected? I have selected that top rectangle. I'm not selecting this. I have selected this wall. Ay,
That looks like fun.
yeah. Well, forget about it. So let's do this. Let's do it from the front elevation. But I have this, no problem, because you can always, I didn't show you the visual style here. So you have this little bar. So here we have these icons. By default, I think it's hidden line, but you can select wireframe. So if you select wireframe, everything is transparent, okay? And now we can select this line, we can select this one, and now it's easier.
Thank
And
you.
what if you want to align this and this? You can, but then the top, it's not aligned. But if we delete this one and we copy this window here, okay, so this window, it's the same as this one, the same dimension, but they are not aligned. Okay, so select align, this, and now it's aligned. And now we want the same distance. Okay, so select annotate. Okay. Why isn't it? Okay, so we select annotate. In the plan, we select these views, and then they are at the same distance. Why didn't it work here? Because when we are working on a 3D view, this is a front view, okay, but it's 3D. If you shift and right click, you can rotate that. In 3D views, the dimensions don't work, okay? So you have to make sure that you are either in a plan or in the elevation, and then you can use the annotate or the align dimensions, but it works only in plans and elevations. It doesn't work in 3D views. No, but that's interesting. And this is how you get to learn what you want. If you want to do something, ask me and I show you if we can do it or not. Just by watching this, you don't learn anything. It's that, okay, I want to make this column that way. Is it possible? Ask me and then I'll show you how to do it. If we want to visualize things, Revit is not great at rendering, as we saw on Tuesday. There are better softwares for rendering, but it's not bad. Here we have different views. We have the wireframe, we have the hidden line. Okay, so we hide lines and we don't see what's underneath. And we have shaded, and we have consistent colors and realistic. Well, you don't see a difference because we haven't used materials yet, but with this you can see different colors, you can see different materials. So far, we are going to use wireframe because with wireframe, we can see transparent things. So we can see that this wall is here with a hidden line. We can't see anything, okay? So sometimes it's useful using the wireframe, but sometimes it's confusing as well. If you have a lot of lines, you need to work with the hidden line option because it's confusing. But when you have only a few elements working with the wireframe, maybe it's easier. Something good, but that works only with a hidden line. You can insert, you can cast shadows. Okay, so now we have shadows. And we can control the shadows by controlling the sun path. If you activate the sun path, use the specific project location. Okay, so this is the sun, this is the sunset, and but you can move the sun if we make it 4 p.m. 12. So you see that the sun is moving and we have different shadows. And we can control the day because this is February the 18th today. What if we have the 21st of December? Okay, so now the shadows are different. So working with the lights and shadows, it's always something good because, but it doesn't work with the wireframe. If you work with wireframe, there is no shadows. Okay, so you need to be in other, either in shaded or hidden line. It doesn't work with the wireframe. And then if you want to visualize things in Revit, there are a lot of things we can do, and working with perspectives in Revit it's interesting. As you can see, we're using, by default, we have axonometric views. But if we select the front view, and then you right click here on this cube, okay? So right click, we have either orthographic or perspective. So you can select perspective, and with a perspective, yeah, we have a, where are we? Yeah. So we have a perspective view. Well, the model is not outstanding, but if I show you the model I was working with before. Okay, so this is the orthographic view, but if you work with a perspective, everything changes. And if you cast shadows, you can create great things by doing this. Okay, so the more complicated the model, the more beautiful shots you can take out of this. Well, sometimes it goes crazy. But this is it. We can control whether we want a perspective or orthographic view. If you want to work, it's better using the orthographic view. If you want to take shots, it's better the perspective or the, yeah. But if you want to work, and I don't know, all these things, it's at the end, so you can hide the sun path and the shadows as you are working, and then when you are going to prepare the final renders or the final shots, then you can activate all this. Okay, I think it's enough for today. Today, I feel like we are starting the course, so I'm not going to upload any classwork, but I want you to practice. Okay, so I'll post this lesson, and I want you to practice this weekend.